I'm Michael, and this is There Will Be Cuts. Few things captivate me more than a great movie trailer. When done correctly, it feels like music. I mean this both figuratively and literally, as a great trailer is built on a foundation of rhythm, beats, and emotional verse that coalesce into a single, beautiful story. Throughout my life, few filmmakers have transported me to these new worlds as masterfully as Ridley Scott.
And action.
A visual genius whose creative vision emerged early on, even when limited by the technology of his time. His work strikes me not only for its versatility, but also for the depth of the characters he illuminates. The mind immediately leaps to Maximus unveiling its identity in Gladiator, or to Lieutenant Ripley, daringly facing the xenomorph in Alien. Yet Scott also directed some of my favorite performances in much smaller, more understated films, like Matchstick Men and A Good Year. His range is truly extraordinary, but with range comes risk-taking, and with risk, failure. With Scott, you either get magnificence or a miss, but God knows I'd kill to be able to miss like Ridley Scott. It was with this deep admiration that I first encountered the trailer for Prometheus, and it did not disappoint. To this day, I consider it one of the greatest trailers ever made, a true work of art. And today, I want to explore how this trailer succeeded so brilliantly, even as the film itself struggled to live up to its promise. Before diving in, I want to highlight a few technical terms that I believe are key to understanding why this trailer works so well. As we go through the trailer, I'll call back to these concepts to show how they're being used in context. Number 1, hit points, also known as sound synchronization or beat syncing. Key moments where the visuals align perfectly with the soundtrack's beats, creating rhythm and emotional impact. Number 2, black frame editing, also known as black flash cuts. A technique using brief black frames between shots to heighten tension, emphasize action, or disorient the audience. Number 3, the visual echo effect. When a visual element transitions seamlessly between scenes, creating continuity and reinforcing themes or rhythms. Number 4, diegetic versus non-diegetic sound. Diegetic sounds exist within the story's world and is heard by the characters, like a radio playing. Non-diegetic sound exists outside of the story's world and is heard only by the audience, like background music. Once you have an understanding of why these tools work, you can start to see how they're applied in the trailers you like, but also when they're used badly to try to manipulate bad stories and stale advertisements. I'm looking at you, M&Ms. Alright, let's get into it. The Prometheus trailer clocks in at the standard 2 minutes and 30-second length and is broken into 4 distinct sections. Section 1, Mystery and Intrigue. Section 2, Excitement and World Building. Section 3, Dread and Horror. Section 4, Chaos and Climax. Section 1, Mystery and Intrigue. Ridley Scott's ability to create visual spectacle is on full display in the opening moments of the trailer. It mirrors the profound opening of the film itself, beginning with a slow, sweeping visual paired with a dramatic string swell. A massive ship floats ominously above the waterfall. Something natural gives way to something unnatural. The contrast is unsettling. Too many trailers assault the viewer with rapid edits in the first seconds, but Prometheus dares to linger. This measured pacing immediately sets the tone, drawing the viewer into the grandeur of its world. I find the trailer of a trailer trend as of late to be the logical next step in the collapse of the American public's diminishing attention span. It treats films like music videos and people like idiots who cannot conceivably pay attention beyond a 5-second burst. If we continue down this path, we'll end up trying to fit entire narratives into a single cacophonous yelp.
Novocaine trailer starts now.
Section 2, Excitement and World Building.
Prometheus has landed.
At the 29-second mark, the trailer shifts into its second act, signaled by an elevation in the music. At this point, we hear the first of many perfectly timed hit points, a lightning strike that forebodes a coming storm. The world building in these brief glimpses is masterful. You know you're watching a Ridley Scott film. The trailer highlights one of its unique strengths, taking what works in the film and leaving out what doesn't. A scene with Doctors Shaw and Holloway, bogged down by wooden dialogue in the film, becomes exhilarating here. Through visuals alone, we understand their relationship as lovers, scientists, and explorers. The trailer communicates large amounts of information quickly and clearly, a hallmark of great storytelling. Compare this to some actual dialogue from the film, and it becomes clear.
I mean, look, if you're willing to discount 3 centuries of Darwinism, that's... Woo!
Ugh. Back to the trailer. A perfect music cue underscores a moment of shared mystery. Fifield's unanswered question invites us to wonder alongside the characters.
An invitation.
From whom?
Please tell me you can read that.
Section 3. Dread and Horror. A major tonal shift begins at 1 minute 10 seconds, marked by an escalating sense of dread. As probes glide past the camera, we hit another beautifully executed hit point, showcasing technology that feels authentically part of the alien universe, although we do not yet know this for certain. The tension becomes palpable.
Whatever that probe is picking up, it's reading life form.
This marks a steady climb to the trailer's climax.
Oh, the head. It's changing.
Changing into what?
A literal and symbolic storm approaches. A brief shot of David smiling as the black goo shifts is wonderfully off-putting, planting seeds of mistrust in David's character with subtle visual choices. Tensions peak with Fifield's horrified realization.
What?
It's moving? These things moving?
At this point, we see the first visual confirmation that this is, in fact, an alien movie. A brilliant moment for fans.
What is that?
The stakes are now clear, and we don't need any unnecessary exposition.
To go where?
Earth.
We were so wrong.
My only real criticism is the inclusion of this line.
If you don't stop it, there won't be any home to go back to.
If we don't stop it, there won't be a home to go back to. This feels like pointless exposition. We already have enough to make it matter. It's a ship. They're leaving. Where? Earth. We were so wrong. This is more than enough to raise the stakes. I love how much is communicated in this trailer without the need to hold our hands throughout. This breaks that great work and relies too heavily on telling, not showing. The tension rebuilds as Shaw's pain-filled struggle begins. The editor knew the finale was going to be an onslaught to the senses, so they linger on Dr. Shaw's pain and let the voices do the work. Section 4. Chaos and Climax. The trailer's final act begins with the iconic siren from the original Alien film. Another nod to the original fan base. It begins with 2 of the tools we introduced earlier, the visual echo effect. As Meredith Vickers runs down the hallway, the flashing emergency lights carry forward into the first use of black frame editing. Notice how the diegetic flashing lights seamlessly introduce the non-diegetic dips to black, reinforcing the trailer's escalating tension. It's a perfect example of how diegetic sound and lighting can enhance not just the story, but also the emotional weight of the visuals. This is the first time we see the engineer, obscuring him just enough with the black frame editing so you're not exactly sure what you're seeing, but you know it's nothing good. Then, the space jockey appears, finally in motion, a striking homage to H.R. Geiger's original designs. Fans of the franchise will instantly recognize its eerie, biomechanical form, while new viewers are left intrigued by its mystery, offering just enough to tantalize without spoiling. Then, at the storm's peak, black frame editing takes center stage. The screen alternates between fleeting images and total darkness, each transition punctuated by the rumble of the sound design. One shot, approximately 17 frames long, followed by 5 ripples, about 4 frames each. This pattern, repeated with increasing intensity, mirrors the chaos and builds a rhythmic tension that feels almost unbearable. By the time the storm has fully enveloped the trailer's narrative, we are no longer just watching the action. We are inside of it. The storm has consumed everything, leading us directly to the climactic presence of the engineer, standing ominously above it all, standing above us.
Big things have small beginnings.
It's a chilling ending that leaves the viewer unsettled and eager to see more. It's a masterclass in how to distill everything great about a movie into a trailer, while also keeping much of the story a secret. This is the purpose of a trailer. We know enough to want to know more. To excite, not to explain. To show, rather than tell. See you next time.